What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to look at the Iowa Pro Style Playbook in College Football 25. Kirk Ferentz, he has been in Iowa since like the Reagan administration. He's been there for so long. I'm pretty sure he's the longest tenured coach in college football. He's ran the same offense what seems like for decades. It's basic, simple pro style. Run, play action, under center, sometimes in the gun. Doesn't get too crazy with schemes and whatnot. And that may be one of the reasons why they don't are too great offensively over the years. I know his son was like the offensive coordinator for quite a while and he didn't do all that well. But anyway, that does not make this playbook bad. You can do some really good things with this playbook if this is the type of scheme you're looking for. So we're going to look at the formations, concepts, play types, and personnel, and hopefully by the end of the video you have a good idea what this playbook is all about. So let's start off with the formation. So again, this is traditional pro style. And notice the order of these. We got single back, we got I formation, we got a power I look, and then we got shotgun. That's it. Really simple, but we're going to start with the under center. Let's start off with wing pair. This is a 13 personnel formation. You got your 3 tight ends out there. Then we got wing tight, another 13 personnel look. Then we get into our first 12 personnel set, and that is single back ace, 18 plays there. Then we get into ace slot, the twins look of ace, and then we also have single back wing if you need the 2 tight ends beside each other, 9 plays there. And we also got the slot version of that with wing slot. So that is it. A lot of 13 personnel and a lot of 12. So if you need 2 and 3 tight ends, this is a great playbook for that. So if you go through here and you notice it's very traditional run play action. I mean, it's just, there's nothing too fancy, but that doesn't make it bad either. We got a little pre-snap motion right there. I always like to look for that stuff, but you got basic series of halfback power, PA power O. Those two go together. I'm going to call this power O play. We'll go up against like a 4-2-5, which is fine. Very simple stuff right here. Nobody's really open. I have to go to my tight end, and I got hit when I threw it. There's the only downside to like a play like this. You only got 3 routes to work with. So if nobody's open initially, you're in a world of hurting. I don't think I'll get anything off there. That's a terrible throw anyways. But anyway, you got plenty of stuff right there. Just again, typical run play action. You go over to like ace. We got some jet sweeps. So this is one little fancy thing that he likes to do is jet sweeps. He'll do it for various formations. There's not a ton of it in this playbook, but you got some of it if you need it. And jet sweeps are pretty cool in this game. They're not bad at all. You know, if you get the blocking, that's half the battle with a lot of these plays. But you do got a little jet sweep action right there, a little 3-play series. You keep on going, just notice it's the same stuff. It's just more run, play action. You do got some drop back built in as well, but you got 18 plays out of this formation. You go to ace slot. Pretty much the same thing, run, crossers, things of that nature. No pre-snap motion in this one. You got wing, kind of same thing. You got Y stick, you know, it's going to be one of your more traditional quick passing concepts. Wing slot, again, what do you keep seeing? We got an RPO out of under center, which I think is pretty cool. You don't see too many of these. Let's see, I'm going to read that corner. Let's go over there to him. We can get some yards out of that. Yeah, it's not too bad. Pick up about 5 or so. Anyway, very simple RPO right there. Those are unique to do from under center because everybody and their brother's under the gun a lot these days. But anyway, guess what? Play action, run, more play action with a little bit of drop back built in. You got a wide receiver screen from under center, and we got another little jet sweep series. So if you're seeing any really good pre-snap motion in this playbook, this is going to be it. And you got your fake jet, you got the sweep itself, and you got play action on top of that. So plenty of under center single back. If you need single back and you need plenty of tight ends to work with, this is a great one to use for sure. Let's talk about the I formation. We got I form type. That's a 22 personnel look, 15 plays. We got wing. That's another 22 personnel look, 15 plays again. And then we got wing over, the same thing. So notice 22 personnel. What's the theme with this? It was single back. Tight ends, more tight ends. Guess what? More tight ends. That's just what it's all about when you're getting under center with this playbook. We got a fleet flicker. That's a pretty cool little play. But you got halfback lead, PA tight end counter. Those two go together. Do we got any pre-snap motion in here? I don't think we do. I went through it not too long ago. Wing, I don't think there was much in it. The I formations don't get hardly any pre-snap motion. We got a little bit right here. It's just all it is window dressing to get like an extra blocker. Like you see here, motion zone weak. Oh, we'll go up against like a 4-2-5. So if you can bring in that extra tight end over, maybe get that extra blocker, get through the B gap, get something going here possibly. Just not much there. But anyway, Again, it's still just run play action, but you can sneak in a little pre-snap motion if you need to. So you got a little 3-play series right there to work with. Here is, let's see, let's go to wing over. Not much here other than, you guessed it, it's just more run and play action on top of that. We've got a little pre-snap motion right here as well. Kind of the same thing. We got a play action power O. We got the power with that, and we got a zone off to the weak side. All right, so that is your I formation. We got a power I formation. We've got 6 total plays. This is great for your 3rd and 4th and short. Nice little change up from what you typically see. And then we get into our shotgun. So I'm going to go over to the beginning. Yeah, so we got, when it comes to shotgun, we don't have a whole lot here, so you gotta have to keep that in mind, because everybody and their brother's in the shotgun these days, but we got enough here to play with. So you got you off trips. That's another 12 personnel look. A slot, same thing. So it makes you wonder, do you need both of these formations? Well, it depends on the plays that are in here. A slot, then we got doubles Y off. Our first 11 personnel formation of the day. 18 plays, week version of that. Y trips week, Y off trio week. Then we get into tight slot open. So pay attention to who your number 1 tight end is, and that is 85. Then we get into empty bunch wide, and that's it. Now, I mean, again, there's just not a lot of shotgun here, but we're going to go through them. Starting off with you off trips. Again, I always like to look for that pre-snap motion. These are just really good drive starters. But as you notice here, drop back, runs, not as much play action. So you got to hear more jet sweep. Again, this is the whole point of any of the pre-snap motion in this playbook. It's going to be jet sweep oriented. So if you need traditional pro style, get a little jet sweep in there. I mean, you probably can't find a better playbook than this that fits all that, except for maybe like Michigan State or possibly Michigan. Michigan's a lot more fancy of a playbook. You go to doubles, way off week. Actually, let me start back here. We got some more jet sweep. We got a fake. We got the zone. We got the jet sweep play action on top of that. Let me just finish that out. So doubles off week, guess what? More jet sweep. Okay. More runs, play. We got a little bit extra RPOs now, so that's just something to keep in mind as you go through this. Y trips week, we got a reverse pass. We got the reverse itself, outside zone. So we got a few trick plays for it not being a humongous playbook, and you're going to see that here in a little bit. You got a little pre-snap motion with that mesh. I enjoy mesh in this game. Works pretty well. I tend to enjoy reading the middle of the field with some of this stuff, and he got stuck on the center. What in the world, buddy? That looked terrible. But either way, you got a little pre-snap motion with mesh on there. Let's see. Got any more here? I don't think we do. We do actually want to go back and talk about this. So some formations, I know this particular formation, I think there's like a couple others in the game that has a lot of these goal line plays. I haven't fooled around with these enough. Somebody can put in the comment section if these work pretty well. My guess is they probably work okay. But this playbook has those if you're interested in them. Y off trio week, we don't have any pre-snap motion here. I'm pretty sure we don't. Then you go over to tight slot open. This is your only condensed formation if you want to get from the shotgun perspective. But we got a little snap reverse. So you notice we got some pretty cool little reverses and trick plays and such. Let's go to empty bunch wide. You got an empty set. And it's kind of condensed in a sense, as you can tell, but there's no like 4 wide looks. That's technically 11 personnel. So speaking of that, let's go over to our personnel. You go to 12 personnel. We got plenty of that here, as you see. We got plenty from under center, and we also got some of the shotgun. 11 personnel, typically your most common personnel grouping, as you can see here, but we actually got like as much 13 as we do 11, which is pretty cool. 23 personnel is your goal line, 32 is your power I and your QB kneel. But then there's that 22. This is all your I formation. Then you get to 21. We only got the clock management, but there's that 13 personnel. Those two right there, which is pretty cool. So you go back and look. Again, it's what you need. Do you need plenty of tight end formations? This is a great one to work with, but I don't see any wide receiver centric formations here. Not a single 10 personnel look, not a 5 wide. So you kind of have to keep that in mind. This is not a wide receiver playbook. Okay. Now let's talk about the concepts. Notice the play count here. I always like to pay attention to that. This is not a very big playbook. It's got plenty of formations, but a lot of these playbooks tend to have like close to 100 medium pass plays or close to like 90 deep pass. Some have more than that, some have less, of course. But this one just doesn't have a whole lot. Look at the amount of basic runs we have, 71 compared to just the option of 26. But again, it's traditional pro style. Let's go over to the run. Starting off inside zone, as expected, this is your go-to run concept. Your entire offense is built off of inside zone, and what you want to do beyond that is up to you. As you see here, we got a zone fake jet. If you're going to use any of that, you got to throw in the sweep in there with it. Speaking of, it says we got 2 jet sweeps, but we actually got just a couple more out of the shotgun. They're more pass plays, though. You got 9 counters. If you need any pulling action, you got 9 of them here. If you got that much, you're probably going to have that much power, which we'll look at here in a bit. 4 ISO. So anytime you see the word ISO, think a fullback is going to be blocking for you. And notice all these are coming from the I formations, and goal line is technically I formation. Outside zone. We got 7 of these. I love outside zone. You're not going to see a ton of it from the shotgun, but this playbook actually has a little bit. Gun doubles way off weak. 1 out of wide trips. We got a way off trio weak. But most of the time, if you're going to see outside zone, it's going to be from under center. I'm going to go ahead and call one from eye tight just because I enjoy having outside zone. I may go, can we go to the left? Will it switch for me? Sometimes these plays will not switch over there for you. See, it ain't going to let me flip the play. Some of them do, some of them don't. But if you can just get up the field, either way, if you just need to get outside the C gap, you got plenty of outside zone to work with. 7 is a really high number compared to what I've seen in other playbooks. Let's go and look at power. We got 13 of this, so more power than counter, but plenty of it, though. A lot of it's power O, and then you get into some shotgun-based stuff, and it's in there as well. So I'm a big fan of all of that. Draw, you got 6 of these, which actually is kind of a high number for what little drop back that there is in this game, or in this playbook, but you got plenty of it here. You got 5 sweeps. So this is traditional pro style. So you're going to have basic toss plays in here as well. Now, we're getting kind of overflowed or flooded on the right side. I don't know if we can get this off or not. Let's say, not too bad at blocking. Just can't get past that guy. But that's a good one to use as well. Inside zone, do a little outside zone, gap, counter, and power if you need to, and then throw in some of this sweep. Then you go into trap. We got 1 play there. And look at all these reverses. We got 4 of them. Again, that's a really high number for just a little old school pro style playbook, if you ask me. Now let's talk about the option. We got 13 alerts. I'm a big alert guy. There's a little bit easier for me to read than like glance routes. I'm not the biggest fan of those, but you got plenty of little bubbles, things of that nature. As you see right here, some bubbles, some of them are alerts as well. You go to load option. We only got 1 of those. As expected, you're not going to see a lot of traditional option in this playbook. We got 5 read options. That's got to be one of the lowest numbers of any playbook in the game. There's that speed option again. You got 1 read, and you got 5 peaks. If you're a peak fan, of course, some of this is bleeding over from the RPO alert section. But again, you got enough RPOs if you need them. Hey, they're here, which is fine. So that you can get at least a little bit modern with your offense. Let's talk about quick passes. There's more quick passes than basic options, if that tells you anything. You go to quick passes, we got 2 Ohio's, 2 Omahas. We got 9 slants. This is pretty normal. If you're going to have that much slant, you're probably going to have that much stick, which we do. We got 11, but I do not want to skip over spacing. So most of the pro-style playbooks in this game have a lot of spacing in them, as you see here. Usually just like a little triangle read on one side, as you see here, like that X curl. You got the swing and a little hitch and another little curl right there. 6 of these. So I recommend implementing this if you're good at it, of course. All right, let's go look at medium pass. Only 64 plays. We got 8 curls. We got 4 mesh. We got 6 choices, so pretty much any play that's got a choice route, an option route of some sort, they're going to dump it all right here. Double moves, 5 of those. We got 5 drives, so pretty much a dig and a drag going in the same direction. I enjoy that concept. We got 3 levels. That's pretty much drive on steroids, pretty much an extra drag thrown in. We got 4 Salems. We got 4 shallows. We got 4 slot crosses. We got 15 smash. Smash is usually your most popular medium concept. Passing concept in the game. We got 5 spots. That makes perfect sense. Spot is ideally pro-style passing. It just is, with that little hitch route and whatnot. And we got 1 Texas. But notice the theme here. Look at the number count. You got 8, 4, 6, 5, 5, 3, 4. It's all a little bit of everything. That's why, because it's a pro style offense. They tend to have more of these passing concepts than some other schemes. Let's talk about the deep pass. We got less of those. We got 9 comebacks. I'm a big comeback guy. Those comeback routes are great against man. Usually you have like a flood concept on the other side. You got 5 deep post or double post. And speaking of flood, we got 11 of these, and this is a lot of the traditional play action. Like I'm going to call this one out of wing tight. Let's see if I can make this work halfway decent. You see right here, you're just flooding one side of the field. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to go to the halfback. He's kind of open. If I can get around that dude, that was a nice little spin. Good little play there. But again, that's all about the running and play action. But flooding, at least you don't have to read the entire field. You can usually just read one side of it. Let's go look at Portland. You got 2 of those. You got 9 shot plays, so most of this is play action over the top. You got 3 daggers. You got 1 divide. You got 7 verticals, and there's some from under center, some from in the gun. Again, I like the variety of that. You got 3 meals, and you got a handful of switches. You got 5 of those. If you need a little bit of veer or run and shoot in your passing game, you got a little bit of that right there. So let's back out. Let's go look at play action. It says we got 15 of these, but we know better. We actually got a whole lot more. It says we got 10 boots. So this is another thing. You got different types of play actions. Boot is going to be a big deal in these under center based playbooks. As you see right here, PA boot roll, boot left, boot this, boot that. You're just kind of moving your quarterback a little around and let him. It's a flood concept. Technically, you look at this PA waggle on the left. That's a flood concept. You go over to slide. This is where you got your backside tight end or a fullback going out to the flat. Like I'm going to call this fullback one. We don't see too many of these in this game, but we have it here. And again, it's a fullback based one. And it takes him forever to get open. I'm going to have to go to somebody else. That almost got picked off. That fullback got stuck on the halfback, I think. Either way, it's cool that you can do that with a fullback at least. You keep on going. Again, just more slides. So at least you got 2 types of boot or play actions, but we got a lot more than that, which we'll see here in a minute. Let's talk about the screens. You don't have much here. It says we got 2 bubbles, and we got 6 flanker screens, wide receiver screens. So the bulk of your screen game is going to be screens to the wide receivers, of course, but some of these are those RPOs we looked at earlier. Wide receiver mid-screen, one of those. But if you go over to play top, you go to pass, and you go to screen pass, we technically have 11 total screens that are not RPO based. A lot of slip screens. I'm going to call a slip screen. I haven't called one of these in forever. Slip screens work pretty well, especially if the defense can really bring some heat. And I couldn't even get the ball off in time. You go back and look at that. Well, I can't bring the instant replay up. I'm going to try this again. Ah, there we go. That worked a little more like it. I had to get the ball off just a little bit quicker than that. But screens are excellent if you're feeling a ton of heat. That's just a nice little counterpoint to what they're trying to do. We got 11 of those. We got, again, more of this is wide receiver or a halfback screen of some sort. You go over to play action. Look how many numbers we got. We got 61 play action plays. Again, this is the whole point of this offense. Run the ball. Play action. Run the ball. Play action. Throw in some dropbacks if you need to. But again, 61 play actions for a playbook that's not very big, that is a humongous number. But it should be. Again, it's pro-style offense. Let's look at the runs. We're going to look at this a little bit differently. We got 43 inside handoffs. That's the bulk of your run game. It's going to be all this A and B gap stuff you're going to throw at them. Then we got 14 outside handoffs. So all those stretches, those tosses, things of that nature. We're going to look at the pitches here in a minute. But you throw in all those jet sweeps on top of that, you got a really fun outside run game. That's what I really like about these types of offenses. You're just not going in between the tackles all the time. You got plenty of options to go outside of the tackle box and fun ways to do it too. Throw in those pitches, as you see right here. You got 5 of those. Then you go into your power game. You got your counters. You got 9 of those. You got 6 draws. You got 3 fullback runs. You even got a little QBs. Now, we haven't talked about this yet. So we got a basic QB power. We got a fake jet on top of that. We got a direct snap, which they put in the QB run, which is interesting. Then you got a QB sneak. But this basic QB power, now I don't know if this quarterback can handle this or not, but this is very simple run game quarterback stuff. Again, if you got a quarterback that can move a little bit for you, I don't think that dude can all that well. But you got a little bit of it if you need to. Option, you only got 6 true option plays. Do not pick this playbook if you're going to try to run option of any kind. There's just not enough of it here. RPOs, only 19. Don't pick this playbook to run RPOs. There are way better playbooks for that. But you do have enough here if you need it. But this is going to be pure screen-based. That would be like the way I would go about doing it. But either way, really cool playbook if you need plenty of under center. If you need some single back, you need some I formation, especially if you need heavier sets. If you notice, there's no 3 wide sets in these single backs and I's. But if you need plenty of that, along with a little bit of shotgun to kind of get things going, and you don't need a lot of wide receiver formations, this is a great playbook for you, and I think you're going to enjoy it. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.